Hello, hello. We're getting everything connected here. We'll make sure that we got some audio. There we go. Perfect. It looks like we're live. So, big topic today. Holy fuck, today's been another hard one. Where do I start? So why do I walk the path I do? A lot of people think I'm crazy, weird, something's wrong with me. And I accept all those things. Some of the hardest paths I've stepped is to look into my parents' eyes and have them scared or loving me because they can't see my path as leading to anything safe or anything that they kind of value. And my path is different than most. And a lot of the people that really know me see me and how open I am in my heart and how open I go into every situation. As I embody the last bits of my higher self, I came here to be a catalyst. I came here to be a paradigm breaker. I came here to question everything. And as I grew up, I was a different kid. I didn't get into relationships, didn't get into sexuality for a whole bunch of different reasons. I questioned everything. I went underneath. I became an engineer, and an engineer is a person that will disassemble everything, the toaster, the whatever's broken, try and fix it. And it gave me these beautiful skills to decompose reality, to see the interrelationships of things, and to look underneath. And more as I look underneath, I'm seeing the truth of why everything is. And whether you believe me or not, or whatever, the truth underneath is that there's a lot of dark and corruption and control going on in this world. And in a lot of ways, the rules were so heavily implemented through religion, through upbringing, through school, through everything, that really a lot of what we believe is actually wrong. And they don't have to be the way they are. There's a treadmill we get on as a human being. And I've been through it. I've had my whole life of doing exactly what the relationship escalator asked. So get a good education, go to school, get a good job, get a house, get married, have kids, have the trailer, have the nice car, have the nice house, all that kind of stuff. And I got to the end of it, and all I saw was death and taxes. And some people are going to say, oh, well, you weren't looking at all the good stuff or whatever. Well, if you have all those things and you have a mortgage and you have kids to take care of and all this kind of stuff, you have to have money. You have to inject into that to afford all those things. Now you can make a whole bunch of choices and go live off grid and not send your kids to school and not worry about all those things. And maybe you're finding some level of happiness, but there's hardship in it too. But if you're really on the status, the proving yourself, making your parents proud, being a good dad, being a good mom, all those kind of things, you're on a treadmill. There's nothing else about it. And no matter how much you get ahead, if you're paying taxes, you're paying all these things, they're all slanted against you. And I'm not here to talk about all those things. I'm here to say I had all the human experiences and I got to them, and I was so numb, I was so unhappy, and I was so exhausted trying to get ahead. I expanded businesses. I went as high in the corporate architecture I could go. I made $170,000 a year, and I found out I got to pay 55% taxes, more than half of my money. And it was actually to the point where I was making less by getting ahead. And it was, it just flabbergasted me. So as I've decomposed from that, as I step back from the need for all these things and what importance housing has, and decomposed all the wants and desires, and then found out what really feeds me, I found they're two different things. And when I was on the treadmill trying to feed the system, feed the family, feed the house, feed all this kind of stuff, I was dying. And I didn't know it. I just had no time for myself. I had no time for inner work. I was just exhausted, and I'd be going to bed at 11 o'clock at night and sleep hard and get up and have breakfast and go to work and feed the system. And it's okay. There's nothing bad in any of that. That's good, honest work. But there's something deeper. And I see you've given me a care. I nothing bad in any of this there, Amanda. It wasn't hurt. It wasn't bad. Some people will say, well, why didn't you look for the positives in it and all the love and the experiences? Yeah, I had all those beautiful experiences with my kids, but they were so small. I didn't have choice over my time. I couldn't go to my kids' graduation because work said I had to be in some other place. I had to be at this place or that place. And this whole other control mechanism tore away from me my personal choice, just to get ahead, just to feed that house and all those other things. And I fully accept that people are okay with that. But as I've got more and more in this, and I found out the most important thing is self-love and decomposing things, that's the reason I'm outside of a lot of people's reality. That's why I trigger a lot of people, because they've taken a different path and they can't understand it, and it makes them question their choices, and that's okay. But it gets a lot of projection at me sometimes. It gets a lot of people that are uncomfortable around me, and they don't like that. And they want to say things, and they want to do things, and they want to whatever to get me to stop. But honestly, are you enjoying the reality you're in right now? And I'll accept if you do, but you're probably not going to want to listen to me anymore, because I decompose that reality. I change that reality. I get you to do a new perspective. I get you to go underneath and start to find out your truth and your reasons why, and you're not going to like some of the things that you're going to find. And it's okay. It's the awakening process. Not everybody's ready to awaken right now, but I was. And I fucking dove deep into it, and it hasn't been fun sometimes. The shit that I find underneath, the lack of communication, the lack of actual real love, where we're not giving ourselves away to people, is so imprinted in our society that we really aren't living for ourselves. We're living to please our partners, living to please our kids, our parents, our employers, our all this kind of stuff. And most people don't even know it. They're just sitting there blissfully unaware, just saying, okay, this is all I deserve. This is all the money that I ever deserve. Well, there's an infinitely abundant universe out there. And not all of it feels good, because sometimes what you want and the really important things are behind a whole bunch of trauma, a whole bunch of discomfort, a whole bunch of programming, societal norming. And the worst one of all is the epigenetic lineage. So a lot of what your parents experienced and their lineage up is replaying in your life, and you don't even know it. So that's what I call unconscious living. The awakening, the enlightenment, the stuff that I'm choosing to do makes me look at all those things. Why am I making the decision? Why I was attracted to that person? Why was I scared away? Why did I not pursue intimacy with that person or whatever? And I can look underneath and I can find out a whole bunch of decisions aren't even mine, because I've been Catholic. That means that you have to get married first and go through a whole big process before I can be deep with a person, before I can share intimacy with a person. I teach about sexuality, some of the most important parts of our system, and revitalizing our system and clearing it. And most people, it shames the shit out of them. They're scared shitless and they don't know why. So I keep talking about it, but I do it in accountable ways. And I don't go out and force anything down anybody's throat, but I'm going to talk openly and directly about what I want. And if you're uncomfortable, we can step away. We can not have that conversation, but don't go away and say, oh shit, yeah, he talks about stuff that makes me really uncomfortable, and then fester with it and blame me. No, go walk away. You can go and blame somebody else, because what I have found, and the truth that I embody, and the paradigm breaker and all this kind of stuff is here because I love everyone and I want everybody to have available to them the truth that I've learned. And it's going to resonate in your heart. Even though it might be scary, you're going to say, oh, there's a truth underneath that. And I really want to understand that. And that's why so many people are drawn to me, but they're uncomfortable. They don't know how to take that level of directness. They don't know how to deal with a person that has an open heart, but sets boundaries. A person that will speak about anything. I can talk to you about anything in my life, even the worst circumstance, where I fell on my face or I hurt someone or whatever, because by speaking about it, I free myself from the trap trauma, the trap friction, the trap bullshit. And there's a million different things that will traumatize you in this world. And only by talking about it, only by being vulnerable about it, and only about sharing that experience with others do we get a chance to heal. And if anything, it makes us stronger. It doesn't make us less, but we hide it and we're scared that somebody else think we're bad or didn't do good enough or whatever. And it's all bullshit. So my role is to do inner work, to feel, to go into experience with people and act from a place of integrity, act from a place of self-love, act from a place of building boundaries, act from a place of asking a lot of really hard questions. And then I can start to live in purity and innocence. So the hard work is getting through it. And I can't say I've had a whole bunch of people thank me for how direct I am and how pure my intention is, because it scares them. They see it and they say, holy shit, if I'm going to have to do that, I don't want to be around. Well, that's why I'm here. I can talk about it. I can open to it. I can share that experience, and we can work with a group of people and work through it in minutes, rather than spending 3 years of your life trying to figure this all out. It's a vibration. It's an energy. It's the work that I've done. I'm a way shower. I'm a pathfinder. I went and frickin' scraped my face through the gravel more times than I can count. And I'm willing to talk about it and willing to share it so that people can shortcut through the bramble bush. And then if enough people follow it, then more and more people are just comfortable with it, becomes a societal norm. And we no longer have to work through the bad societal norms, the controlling ones. We can work from ones that are pure. And that's my intention always. In my perspective, sometimes it's fear, because I'm still working through my shit, that somebody will judge me for that or say that I'm wrong or I'm too direct or whatever. And the old me would hurt about that, but I'm learning that integrity of going up to a person and giving them direct truth, grabbing them by the shoulders if they're willing to be touched, and just saying, this is what I found. This is what's different from what you're thinking. And sometimes it's just a tiny little bit of a change. And they can save themselves so much struggle, so much pain. That's how much I love, but I'm tired of fixing. I don't fix people. I speak here with this stuff. And when people engage, I'll share anything with them. The abundance comes back to me throughout the universe, because everybody's all wounded about money right now and wounded about all this shit. And I got to make a living and I got to show my value and truth. Right here and right now, I'm sharing. Anybody that watches my lives, I share pure gold every single day. I don't know why I don't have more followers. I don't know why more people don't take this up, other than it's gritty. I speak about it from the truth. I'll be in the middle of crying about it or angry about it, and I will talk about what I feel, but that's integrity to everybody's experience. That's integrity to me, to say, fuck, this wasn't fun. And part of the process is crying in bed, curled up, wanting to vomit, because the shit we're releasing is old. It may be for millennia. It may be your epigenetic lineage. It's not clean and fuzzy and full of bubbles and light. But once we acknowledge that we're feeling it, we let the blackness come out of our soul, let all the beliefs that are forcing us to be caged to slowly come out, and hear other like-minded people saying, I feel the same way. This is how I got through it. This is what I did. That's my role. I don't like to call myself a teacher or somebody that's a way shower or whatever. I'm a get it done kind of person that wants everybody to have the easiest path, wants to show people a new way, a new perspective, so they can start to be free. Because these things have caged us, whether we like to admit it or not, they've caged us. We have no idea that they're even in there. Most of them are in our unconscious, and they just blurt out in the moment, or unconscious fears or shame or guilt or whatever will hold us back from doing what our heart wants. Learning that visceral experience in your body, that there's a lot of rage, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of sadness and tears that have never been expressed, that have crushed us. And it sits inside of us all day long. And we can't understand why we feel in fight or flight, why we can't breathe, why we can't manifest, why bad shit keeps showing up, why we never have a lover, why we never have sexuality. All is because of this shit. And we just got to keep opening it to the light, shine on it, burn away the outside layer, let the emotions that go with it, let the bubbles pop, and then a new level comes up. Shine on it, start to ask truth, poof, a new layer comes up. And the more we can find a safe place where we can share this, talk about it, whether it's good or bad or messy or whatever, it's so freeing. And then guess what? Once you get that information, you carry that seed for other people. Here's the way out. And you go out into your world and you shine that light. It's like a lighthouse of knowledge. And I've chosen to collect it all and to share it with people. And it's a stage. I want people to come up on this stage with me and share their experience and share their light and get brave and comfortable about it. And then you go into your workplace, you go into your families, you go with your kids, you go in your communities, your churches, and everybody's like, holy cow, why are you so happy? Shit, you got thrown to the ground multi times. Why do you still smile? Why do you want to still give when you've given and sometimes it doesn't always come back in the way you expect it in relationships and other things? I've lived all that. But when you go into the bigger picture, the life of being of service, those things will come. But mine comes back through God and through light and through people that start showing up in my world. And it's not about always a better job. Just trusting that my bills are going to be paid and my expenses are going to get cleared. But it's not a 3D way anymore. I can't see it. I can't say, oh, here's exactly how I'm going to pay this next month and the next time. It's a very different way of living, because then we become our energetic selves. We become a manifester. We become a creator, and we build this bubble, this energetic field of us being met. And that's what I want to share. That's what I want to teach. That's what's underneath all this stuff. And yeah, I can say it was hard. Wanted to make me die more times than I can count, because it's change. And nobody knows that change is what's needed to get this world changed, to get this better, to fix the things that are going on. And it has to change in us first. I can't say, hey, you got to fix this before I'm going to be okay with it or whatever. No, it's like, I would never ask anybody to do anything that I wasn't willing to do myself. And then I can speak from the energy, and it's like, holy frick, that was like going into the darkest dungeon and fighting dragons and all this kind of stuff, to look at that stuff. I can talk about even yesterday, I had a relationship thing and there's a bunch of untruth going on. And I went to the bottom of it because it was uncomfortable to me. I couldn't understand it. And I had to ask some really hard questions because I didn't feel balance. I didn't feel truth. I didn't, all this kind of stuff. Those are the things that are the gold, because next time it's not going to be so hard. It's like, hey, you haven't been talking about this thing. And why aren't you talking about it? You want to talk about mine, but you don't want to talk about yours. And they're like, okay, you've exposed another piece that I didn't really want to talk about. But guess what? Now all of a sudden they're free. I want to forge relationships with people where we can talk about anything. We can share anything. Nothing's shameful. Nothing's bad. Nothing's you're wrong. Nothing you did poorly. And you're going to see magic. Because all of a sudden you're free. If you can talk to one person, you can talk to anybody, and you're going to very quickly find out that nothing in this human experience is bad or shameful. Even rapes or incest or violence in the family or suicides or whatever, everybody just wants to sit with this shame like they did something wrong or something bad. They did nothing wrong. Everybody's got 1, 2, 3, 10, 100 underneath the shelf. And if we really start to see people, we start to see that they got a whole bunch of really wounded little children inside. And that child just wants to be with a bunch of other pure, innocent little children that are talking openly and all of a sudden aren't shaming themselves to say, hey, I should have done something better and I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have worn this, or I shouldn't have went in that room. And all of a sudden it's like, I'm going to go explore. And every time one of those things showed up, it was to teach me. And now that I can speak openly about it, I can go through everything and I can get rid of the shame and the guilt, and I can have a discussion with them, or I'll listen to them talking about theirs. And it's going to be like, I had daddy issues, or I had mommy issues, or I had whatever. And I had narcissism in my family. I had whatever. And it drew you to people that were just like that so that you could get through it. But you didn't deal with it with your parents or your narcissistic person. You are now pulling it in your partners, in work people, in your kids. And once we get through it, we start to understand it. We start to understand how it made us believe ourselves as bad and how it crushed us down. We can all of a sudden release those clamps, release those beliefs, release those things, and start to be ourselves and to love ourselves. And once we love ourselves, nobody can do anything to us. We get really clear and we get really in our power, and magic happens. So I love you all. I take the path less followed for a reason. It's been hard. I don't think anybody owes me, but I don't want to live in a world with all this shit. And that's why I do it. So nice to get that off my chest, to share these things. I'm sorry if I trigger you. Actually, I'm going to step back on that. I'm not sorry I trigger you. I'd love to have a discussion about it in a normal way. I love everyone so much, and I'm always going to tell the truth. And if that causes a trigger, I honestly feel it's a gift, but you may not like it. And the more gifts I can give that are direct and allow people to stand in directness for themselves, the better this world is. And I don't attack people. I don't talk about them. But if you want to bring something up or you want to be in the shadow about it, I'm going to pierce right through it. And we're going to go right to the bottom of it. And a lot of times that gift isn't accepted in the moment because there's a lot of discomfort. We'll sit inside and it'll carry through. And that's way more direct. That's way faster. And I'm not going to beat around the bush, and I'm not going to play games, and I'm not going to do any bullshit. But that's the price of admission in my world. And I'm okay with that. That's a boundary because I don't need to play games with people. But when you're ready, I will tell you the truth every time. And I want you to tell me the truth. I want you to call me on my shit, and I'll call you on your shit, but do it in an accountable way, do it reasonable way. And things change massively quickly. It may sound scary at the beginning, but eventually it's just like, I disagree with you. Here's my perspective, blah, 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 blah. Instead of it's like, F off, I don't want to talk to you again, blah, blah, blah. Go say something bad about yourself that'll traumatize you. That's the old way. The new way is, what the fuck's going down here? Let's get real. And we're going to hold a container, and some beautiful things are going to happen. So I love you all. Thank you for listening, and expect more. Talk to you soon. Have a great day. Keep smiling. Keep doing your work. I'm here for you. Any questions, anything, anytime, call me. Have a good day.